Hello, welcome. In this video, I would like to talk about the levels of consciousness with the eye of a Western person. We have been talking about it already in another video. I will put the link below. How is the Eastern approach about the levels of consciousness? I shortly summarize it. So first, there is the confused mind, which doesn't understand what's going on outside. And the second level is when somebody's attention is jumping from one thing to the other thing very quickly. We saw it very often today because of the internet. And then the next level is when somebody can focus for a longer time. This is also what you can see today. And the next level is the so-called one-pointedness, when you can concentrate so much that you actually able to do it without any other confusing thoughts. And the next level is the cosmic consciousness, when you actually experience that the watcher and the watched thing is one. So it's a little bit difficult to understand for Western people. So there is another system which is more easier to understand. So the first level of consciousness, according to it, is the so-called survival level of consciousness. Many people think that it's when the civilization started in the very ancient times, people were thinking like that. Of course they were, but actually I think in the old times, the beginning, the archaic times, the people were much more connected with the higher forces and their inner self. It's a little bit misleading, but for sure it was necessary for us to survive. That's why it's called survival level of consciousness. It is when you actually sense there is a danger, then you can react very quickly. It is connected with some parts of the brain, the limbic system, for example, and this is the basis of our nervous system somehow. So what I am telling you now about is, for example, there is a child and then he goes close to the oven or fire and then he feels it's very hot and he is able to take his hands out of the fire very quickly. So this was connected, according to me, to both the left and right brain. The next level, which is called emotional consciousness, or when someone is directed by his or her unconsciousness. So you can also call it the unconscious level of consciousness. It is when people react for something emotionally, only emotionally, without thinking, as a reflex. And what happens that something happens outside and this takes them back to a trauma which happened before. So it is connected to the right brain. And in this state, the people are living in an emotional roller skate. So sometimes they are happy, sometimes they are not. And this is when somebody is saying something to a person and the person sometimes said that I felt that he or she was pushing a red button inside me. So if you don't work out your emotional traumas, this is the level. And the next level is called rational level of consciousness, which is related to the left brain. This is when a person is actually realizing that this is not logical how he or she reacts when she reacts only emotionally, and people try to analyze what's happening. This is the level of consciousness which is the most widespread in the Western world, because actually most people are trying to analyze everything, to understand logically and turn to science, and only the outside results count, and they are not connected to their inner self. And this cold, logical, rational approach brings somehow a kind of emptiness inside the people, and sometimes they feel depressed. And it is the most widespread today. Deepak Chopra was suggesting in his first Ayurvedic book for the Western people that try to pay attention what is happening between two thoughts in your mind. Or Maharishi gave that advice to the Western people that sometimes try to turn inside and ask who I am. So this is a kind of emotionless, only logical and rational approach to life. The next one is the so-called heart-centered level of consciousness, when people actually realize that they see a person suffering and they realize that it happened with them before and it was difficult, so they realize that we are going, each of us, on the same way of development, and we are going through on the same suffering, and they start to feel some kind of connectedness with the other person. So on this level, empathy appears, and very often people can reach this level only through suffering. But it is also possible through meditation. If you remember, we were talking about that our body is built up from channels and the life force is flowing through us. So if you do meditations regularly, it doesn't need to be a long meditation like 10-15 minutes, let's say every morning, every evening. After some time, you will start to feel how this life force is moving. And after some time, you will start to feel these channels doesn't end at the physical body, but actually people are connected to each other. So from this level, it will be very important how the other person feels. And I think somehow in us, Hungarians, it's imprinted because our name differs a little bit from the other nations, because for us, the family name comes first, and the person's name, the Christian name, is the second, and family is everything, not only the close family, it's also the community. But somehow it just didn't come out, this approach from everyone yet. And the next level is the cosmic consciousness, when actually this level sometimes people reach through meditation, when they somehow try to feel that everything is one, everything is connected. It's like when you feel a drop in the ocean. And in this state, you are still there as a person, the individual, the watcher is still there. And somehow many teachers and gurus are saying that the aim is to stay on this level more and more time, because you can reach it through meditation. But according to me, it's much more important to bring down the love and this approach that we are one to everyday life and behave this way with the other people. And the next level of consciousness is the so-called love consciousness, when everything, it's the non-duality or singular consciousness, how they call it, when everything is one. And here the watcher disappears, so there is no watcher and watching anymore, everything is one. So why I was talking about it so long? Because all the levels of consciousness are present in our life every day. The question is what is present mostly. And I think how high somebody can go, you can see that how deep down he wants to go down actually. And this is how can you bring down, how much love you can accept and give to people. So the aim is not just to go higher, but bring it down to your everyday life. Now I check if I left something out. So what I mean, that I am hearing very often that the people meditate inside their room, but they don't want to go to a crowd of people, because what happens with the energy system, their energy system, what happens with their aura, okay, something will happen and you can go down, but if you go out and you have a higher level, you can just lift up the other people, and when you go home you can restore your energy system and you can go back to balance. This kind of people who can reach higher level of consciousness, they look like average people, so they are not gurus or big teachers, or they don't have the light and this kind of approach to life, because the egoism, exactly, is not present anymore. I hope it helps you with something. Stay happy, stay healthy, and have a nice day.